is going around getting killed by suicide. According to the Justice Department, Jeffrey Epstein was killed by suicide. Case closed. Epstein was killed by suicide. Epstein committed suicide, and the Justice Department now refuses to say who committed it for him. In a newly released memo, first uncovered by Axios, the Department of Justice and FBI concluded not only that Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide, but that he didn't blackmail famous politicians and business leaders by videotaping them having sex with minors. No tapes of powerful men. The memo says, quote, "This systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties," unquote. Pretty funny. Wow. No client list. No client list. No list of men to whom Epstein provided underage girls. The Department of Justice says in its memo that Epstein trafficked nearly 1,000 minors, but there was no list of powerful men or clients that he ordered these girls to be assaulted by. No client list. Even though, as the New York Times reported, our Attorney General, Pam Bondi, back in February, told Fox News that Jeffrey Epstein's client list, quote, "is sitting right here on my desk and will be released shortly." Now, there's suddenly no client list. The 1,000 minors, all for Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein worked for no investment firm, had no discernible source of income, yet amassed a $500 million fortune, along with a private jet, the largest mansion in New York City, a 10,000-acre ranch in New Mexico, an estate in Palm Springs, where Donald Trump reportedly loved to eat, and his own island in the Caribbean. I guess he accrued all those riches depending on the kindness of wealthy politicians and business leaders who just like giving him their stuff. According to the memo, Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel have concluded officially that Epstein acted completely alone in the trafficking and exploitation of his nearly 1,000 underage victims. He acted alone. Somebody should tell Epstein's girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who's currently serving a 20-year sentence for trafficking underage girls with him. He acted alone. The memo says he trafficked all by himself nearly 1,000 victims, which is odd because Epstein doesn't exactly sound like a do-it-yourself kind of guy. In the memo, they say the FBI seized more than 10,000 videos, most of which constituted child pornography, which is why these videos cannot be released to the public. I guess thanks to the Doja cuts, the FBI no longer has the technology to blur out faces and bodies. I guess we can't see that. So we should just take their word for it. It was just Epstein, 10,000 videos of just Epstein with the minors. Because if you're assaulting minors, you want to have evidence of that, of you yourself assaulting minors. He did it all by himself. All 10,000 videos are just of Jeffrey Epstein with minors. Because that's what you do. You videotape yourself having sex with minors, because that way you don't have any evidence. This is what the Justice Department memo says. And when has Kash Patel, who right before becoming FBI director, sold detox pills that promised to remove the COVID vaccine from your system, when has Kash Patel ever misled us? And when is Pam Bondi, who served as Trump's first impeachment lawyer, who claimed Trump won Pennsylvania in 2020, who later said there was a peaceful transfer of power when Joe Biden took office? Pam Bondi, who claimed Kilmar Abrego Garcia was a convicted member of MS-13 who took part in a conspiracy to murder his rival gang leader, even though she offered no evidence. When has Attorney General Pam Bondi ever misled the American people? The Justice Department concluding Epstein never shared the minors with any of his guests, kept them all to himself. Not exactly the best host. And yet, powerful men like Bill Gates, Prince Andrew, and Woody Allen kept coming over for dinner. World leaders who could afford the best hotels in Manhattan, for some reason, preferred instead an overnight stay at Epstein's apartment. Why? Because of Epstein's famous slumber parties, where the guys, and only the guys, got to stay up all night sipping Mountain Dew, flipping baseball cards, while watching the Star Wars trilogy. So now, according to the Justice Department, this case is closed. The Trump Justice Department concluding there was no further evidence suggesting the need to investigate or charge any other Epstein friend or associate with a crime. Nearly 1,000 victims, tens of thousands of videotapes, flights to Europe, the Virgin Islands, a painting of Bill Clinton as a transvestite prominently displayed in the lobby of Epstein's Manhattan apartment. Those red pumps are slimming, and he did it all by himself. All by himself. Why would Jeffrey Epstein keep this picture in the lobby to his New York City mansion? This was the first thing world leaders saw when they walked through the doors. You walked in, and to the right, a painting of Bill Clinton in a blue cocktail dress, pointing his finger directly at the viewer as if to say, "What are you looking at? Who are you passing judgment on? You think you're any better than I am?" This painting of Bill Clinton in his blue dress telegraphed to all of Epstein's visitors, well, if I can unapologetically display this somewhat compromising picture of a world leader, imagine what else I'm not afraid to show you. Back in 2019, when Epstein finally got arrested, Trump was president, and his attorney general was Bill Barr, who supervised the arrest and prosecution until Epstein was found dead. Barr's father, Donald Barr, was headmaster of the exclusive New York City private school Dalton, where he hired a 21-year-old Jeffrey Epstein, who, despite having no college degree, ended up teaching math and physics at Dalton. Donald Barr, Bill Barr's father, later fired Epstein, who was known at Dalton for walking through the halls sporting a fur coat. Epstein was fired due to his poor performance. Interesting. At the same time, Bill Barr's father, Donald Barr, also authored this book, Space Relations, a science fiction Gothic novel in which the intergalactic power brokers engage in torrid relations with their enslaved, underaged females. Critics described it as creepy. Really, it is, to say the least, a graphic novel. So coincidences like that often give rise to conspiracy theories, but I don't buy into it, and I really don't. I don't think Donald Barr, Bill Barr's father, shared anything with Jeffrey Epstein other than a job, and then fired Epstein because Epstein was a bad teacher. And that's it. I don't believe back in 2019, Bill Barr, as Attorney General, was protecting Epstein because there was some familiar relationship. But I do understand how low information QAnon conspiracists looking for simplistic answers, looking for some grand unifying theory that explains everything so they don't have to read, I can understand how they can come to view this as part of some massive conspiracy. Because it is part of a massive conspiracy, but not the conspiracy the QAnon people believe, okay? There is a conspiracy that reaches from Dalton, where Barr's father was the headmaster, to Wall Street, to government. And that conspiracy is a tight-knit community of the richest 1%, who all go to the same schools, live in the same neighborhoods, eat at the same restaurants, and travel with the same people. When 8 of the 9 Supreme Court justices attended either Harvard or Yale Law School, when 7 of the last 12 attorney generals graduated either from Yale or Harvard, 1 from Columbia, there's going to be a tight-knit circle of like-minded, powerful people who have been trained to maintain the status quo. The status quo, which, among countless other injustices, fosters income inequality. There are only a handful of the chosen few, the guardians of the richest 1%, tasked with protecting the vast fortunes of a tiny group of people. And if that tiny group of people don't all know each other, they try to know each other by anticipating their needs and wants, and the people below them service their wants and needs, which is a form of neo-feudalism, where money gets sucked up to the richest of the richest, while the bottom feeders like you and me down below are either brainwashed into gratitude for the few uneaten morsels that fall from their laps, or we get locked up for lack of appreciation. That's the conspiracy, a series of perfectly reasonable coincidences. The people out at the top bounce off one another, and as they bounce off one another, they get richer and they conspire to keep it that way.